I'm Amy Zawi. Welcome to the Red Alert for June 29. What's the harm in a map? The BDS movement, boycott, divest, and sanction, is officially and openly recycling the 1920s Nazi playbook and doing it in New England, the cradle of the birthplace of U.S. democracy. Let's go back just a bit. When the Nazis rose to power, they organized mapping projects and distributed these maps to the general public under the direction of "Don't Buy from Jews." It was an economic boycott of Jewish businesses in an attempt to economically strangle the Jewish community. Adhering to this government edict was framed as being patriotic and healthy for the community. The next steps in this roadmap led to the violence against Jewish-owned businesses, confiscation of Jewish-owned businesses and assets, and eventually neighbors standing silent as Jewish families were taken away to ghettos or death camps, all while their assets were seized and redistributed. The mapping project, born in Boston, is the same play in a different century. And this time it's on a global scale. Framing the cause as philanthropic and pointing a finger at American Jews as the epitome of white supremacy, imperialism, and colonialism, this mapping project is BDS on steroids. Not only does it call for the economic divestment of all the companies it lists, it implicitly is calling for violence against these organizations for either being Jewish, Zionist, doing business with Israel, or any other connection it can make, including having the name Jewish in the business name. The map exists for the purpose of targeting the physical locations as well. The mapping project's own homepage first attempts to veil its purpose in some sort of community enrichment, but then reveals its intent to cause harm. This map is intended first and foremost to cultivate relationships between organizers across movements and deeper our political analysis as we build community power. Building community power for us has meant seeking the knowledge of the organizations in community with us and highlighting the radical analysis and resistance of earlier generations which have been suppressed. Our goal in pursuing this collective mapping was to reveal the local entities and networks that enact devastation so we can dismantle them. Every entity has an address, every network can be disrupted. This is terrible. This website has no About Us page, no accountability whatsoever, and it claims to be supported solely by volunteers and accepts no donation. I find this nearly impossible to believe. If it doesn't take donations and the website builders cannot put their names or organizations on it, that's a red flag that funding is coming from a private source. Just like Students for Justice in Palestine on college campuses, that source is likely terrorist organizations. This mapping project is getting a lot of attention from Zionist watchdog groups, and I'm sure investigations are ongoing to see who is producing the content and who's paying for it. Again, this is a tactic taken right out of the Nazi playbook of the 1920s. Wherever you may be, please call out this initiative for what it is: pure anti-Semitism and the antithesis of justice, due diligence, and intellectual debate. The ADL has produced a great and easy to understand response to the mapping project, noting some key factors on their site. Organizations and publications have also been critical of this mapping project, including articles in the Washington Post, Jewish News Syndicate, Jerusalem Post, posts on Facebook pages, including groups such as Stop Anti-Semitism, No Fear Solidarity Rally, Anti-Zionism on Campus, American Jewish Committee, Jexit, Ashish by BDS, the ADL site, and more. If you see or hear this mapping project in your community or on your social media feeds, from your church pulpit or wherever you get news, it is to be denounced, and I implore you to voice your opposition to it. Speak out, speak up, post a reply, and include some concrete evidence of your refute. Anti-Semitism is at an all-time high, and it is because it is going unchallenged and often undetected. Please don't fall into the excuse of, I had no idea, I never heard about this. Our responsibility is to dig for facts and truth, even if it takes a bit of time and effort. If you're relying on your local network news, CNN, or even Fox for information about what is going on in our nation, in our world, that is targeting Jews or Israel unfairly, you won't hear it from these organizations. Germans in the last century said, I had no idea, I didn't know, it wasn't my problem. And here we are on a road down to the same destination. You can be an obstacle in that road. You can be a stop sign. You can be a detour. To donate to our ongoing effort to bring you news and information as well as content and Bible studies, Please find us on Facebook, LinkedIn, or the web, www.jerusalemconnection.us. Shavua Tov, and have a great day.